so human yet whimsical.
Yes, so capricious.
That approach is so unusual for the artist Earth.
Is it?
Wouldn't you say?
Why are we so afraid to say something stupid when we talk about art? There's no real truth anyway. Sometimes it is more scientific to be truly and utterly subjective.
The woman behind this thesis is art historian Nausikaä El-Mecky from Pompeu Fabra University, Barcelona. But first of all, how does one actually research art? What is the story behind a work of art? Who made it? Who bought it? What is the message of a painting? These are some of the many questions that art historians want to answer. Some art historians might focus more on the life of one specific artist, or investigate religious symbolism in French medieval paintings, or political messages in South American installations in the 1970s. Meanwhile, art historian Nausikaä El-Mecky is mostly interested in one thing: destruction. Well, that, or things that come close to destruction. Hiding works of art, forcing artists to only paint in one particular style. It does not matter if a work of art was made in the Stone Age or yesterday. If an artist's freedom of expression is restricted, then Nausikaä is interested. Back to Barcelona and our expert. What makes art history different?
For me, it's the hardest thing about art history is that we are a bit parasitic. We basically work with the creative products of somebody else, products that cannot be put into words, but which are visual, and we then write lots and lots of words about it. So in that sense, we have a bit of a problem to justify why we do what we do. Because why do we talk so much about a picture when a picture actually says more than 1,000 words?
Where do you see problems with the access to art?
I think one of the biggest issues that happens when it comes to connecting with art is that a lot of people are really afraid of saying stupid things. Whereas on the contrary, if you speak to some art world figures, they're always speaking in very sort of strong sentences, like, obviously this was a very bad exhibition. So there's a really strange sort of rift between people who are not art world insiders who feel afraid to say anything, and then art world insiders who say things with absolute certainty without actually necessarily explaining why. We have to find different ways of talking about art. I think that no answer is stupid. I think that it's great to be wrong. It's great to have a discussion. Art has always been part of us. If you look at the earliest cave paintings, it's always a part of us. I just don't imagine those people in the caves going, yeah, let's talk about this elephant. And we alienate ourselves by making it too special.
How do you implement subjectivity in your own research practice?
First of all, I've had to accept that art history is just not an objective discipline. However hard we try, however many facts we look for, however many details we give, what happened in 1522 or 1871 or in this document or that document, we are still dealing with the fact that we're dealing with works of art that were chosen subjectively based on somebody's taste. Obviously, there are certain criteria of what makes, a great painter, but these criteria, they change all the time. So there are so many things in a work of art that are just, that you can't grasp, a certain atmosphere, a certain feeling, and they can also change. Strange things that we cannot, can't even find the words for it, because that's the point. If you want to paint something that you could also write in a sentence, why would you paint it? So I want to try to give some space for that subjective, uncertain, ambivalent stuff within my research, within my texts and within my presentations, so that hopefully when you read it or when you listen to it, you allow yourself to also let your mind wander a little bit.
How do you define academic freedom in art history?
I would define scientific freedom to allow yourself to write about everything. I'm mostly interested in those situations when people actually attack art. What makes a work of art so powerful and so important that people are actually willing to risk their life for it, either to protect it or to destroy it? I found that sometimes people find it problematic that I give a voice to people who destroy art because they feel that they have no place in art history. You know, you should not give a voice to the enemies of art history. The other thing would be to open up art history also for other people and other groups. It's a bit of a cliche, but still, it's still a problem that art history is still a very elitist field and also dominated by, you know, dead or living straight white men. I wish that people felt more allowed to just go in and basically almost consume art, like when you would go to the cinema. You know, you just go there because you're in a certain mood and you just look at this art. And you don't necessarily have to say anything clever, but you can. So that's what I love.
What significance does Die Junge Akademie have for you?
You are freed up to think about things in different ways because there are people coming in from mathematics or from neuroscience, and you come up with projects together. So people think creatively, but also academically in very different ways. So it's incredibly inspiring to break out of your bubble in that sense. And finally, it's a wonderful opportunity to create things that also are meant to be relevant, not just for you and for your other art historians or for other academics, but where you really go out and make things that are more relevant for a wider audience. Let's allow ourselves these pockets of subjectivity, these pockets of I don't know, these pockets of let's imagine, because ultimately we are dealing with works of art that other people have imagined as well.